Hi, welcome back to what is the second last video making this series for the die. At this stage we're going to look at the design things that we're asked to do. So you're asked to design a disc to indicate the numbers and also a pointer of some type. So I'm thinking that a pointer that sits, is either glued or screwed here, extends out over the disc and then comes down somehow, maybe pointing like this, and from the front you would see the arrow pointing at a number. I'm thinking of something like that. I might go with screwing it on, or I might just super glue it onto the back, the fascia plate here. I'm not sure at that stage. For the numbers on the disc, I did a little work in SolidWorks and came up with, I couldn't find a drawing on the internet that I liked, so I messed around in SolidWorks and came up with this disc. I broke the 100 millimeters into 6 different sections, and then SolidWorks allows you to write numbers and write text in curves. So I kind of just messed around with the sizes until I found something I liked. I probably should have planned it better. I'm not going to go back and change it at this stage, but the numbers on a real dice, the opposites add to 7. So opposite 6 you'd have 1, opposite 5 you'd have 2, opposite 4 you'd have 3, etc. I didn't bother doing that. It would be quite simple to do it. The only issue I really had with it was when I printed it out, it wasn't the exact size, and I had to photocopy it a couple of times to get it right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to glue that on. I'm going to drill 1.5 millimeter holes, a lot of them, and then use a piercing saw to cut out the numbers and then file them down. I won't show all of it in the video, but you'll get an idea, and I'll come back to you periodically when it's finished. And then the second stage we'll deal with looking at this marker thing. Okay, so just to glue it on first of all, I'm going to use a glue stick. I think, here's the back of the page, the best bet might be to glue a piece of metal. Be able to use the hole that we've drilled in it as a guide to locate the drawing in the right place. So that's pretty covered with glue. My fingers will be too in a minute, I'd say. Contact glue, spray on contact glue would work very well for this as well. I just don't happen to have any at the minute. So I'm going to use a scriber. I've already punched a little hole in this, but I'm going to use a scriber just to help me locate the center of the hole before I stick it down. Easier said than done. Got that there. Okay, so that's pretty good. Press that out, get rid of any bubbles, make sure it sticks down well. You want a good covering of glue, because you don't want this coming up as you're using it, especially around the numbers. In order to do the lines here, I'm just going to scribe very deeply on each of the lines with the scriber and ruler. I'll do that after I've cut out the holes, and that should give me a little groove that'll go through. Okay, so I'm going to give that a few minutes to dry, and then I'm going to drill it with a 1.5 millimeter drill bit. So that's all the parts made, cleaned up, and emery papered to give them a rough surface so that the spray paint will have a better adhesion. So I'm about now to put on the first coat, which in most of the pieces will be primer. I'm going to put on a red primer for the parts that I want red afterwards, and black primer for the back piece on black. And I'm also going to put on a spray painted lacquer onto this one. Just want to show you this piece first. You may remember when we were making this, in the marking out, the hole was actually over here, but because of the way I bent it, actually the hole ended up on the opposite side. So I plugged that with a brass plug. I'll show you in another video how to do that and get it even better than that, but it wasn't too worried because it was spray painted. And I re-drilled the hole back here. I think it'd be nicer if the lead is coming out here as opposed to out the front and going around the side. So let's get down to spray painting. Work in a well ventilated area and wear goggles, any personal protection, a mask or something like that as well. Now that the undercoat is dry, I'm going to give these parts 2 coats of the colour red for the red undercoat ones and black for the grey undercoat ones, followed by gloss. Of course, being in Ireland, we can't rely on the weather, so it started to rain outside, so I had to move everything in. Of course, and the high humidity is going to add to the length of time it takes for the paint to dry. But we have to do what we have to do. And finally, a nice coating of lacquer. I'll leave that to dry, flip over the pieces and give this other side a coat, and I'll check then to see if it needs a second coat or so. And so after the spray painting is finished, we end this video on a sad note. I've been at it for a while now, I've been experimenting with the solar panels to try and get them to operate the motor, and it is Ireland, the sky is overcast today, and I'm getting nothing, but I can't even actually get this LED to work of one of them. So rather than have a kind of an incomplete ending to the video, I'm going to cheat. I have a 3-pack here for 3 AA batteries, and that will add up to a total of 4.5 volts, which is what the motor requires, and I can hide that in the project hopefully. So while it's not a perfect solution, tomorrow when I get to putting this all together, that's the solution I'm going to go. I'm going to investigate getting better solar panels, but that may take a little bit of time, and if I do find something suitable, I'll do an add-on video showing that bit. So thanks for watching this probably long video, and we'll see you shortly for the assembly and electronics and putting the whole thing together. Thanks for watching.